I look. I don't. Again,
You don't have to apologize.
No.
You're right.
I'm not apologizing.
This is about discussion.
I'm
I
not
think you owe us
apologizing.
an apology, and I think you can be more positive.
You'll never get a fucking apology out of me.
We're shutting down the studio.
Welcome. You're listening to the Film Zealots podcast, where they evangelize about film, with your hosts, Sans and Chris. Episode 3. Just do it. Don't let your dreams stay dreams.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Film Zealots podcast. This is episode 3. I'm Chris. Sans is sitting over there. Ray's sitting over there. And we're joined by Victor, Carlos, and Alan today, all in studio. I'm not really sure why. It's our 3rd episode, but I'm just going to roll with it. All right. So this week, we are going to be talking about nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, I wanted to go through a couple things. First thing I wanted to talk about was last week's Sans. If you remember it, I don't. Maybe you don't remember this, but you made a vow to be the positive one on this podcast and start living a more positive life.
I'm very positive. Right
So-
now.
So I wanted to say, how's that going?
Oh, I'm good. Positive. I'm positive that I am positive.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You want a soda?
I don't want a soda. I'm good.
So you're good. You're keeping that
Why
positivity.
is everyone
going.
staring at me?
I have to stare at you. I'm talking to you.
I feel like you guys want me to turn the table over or something.
All right. So that's good to know. I'm happy that you're still staying positive. But I'm gonna try to test you here. Because last week, after the show, me, you, and Ray, we all went out and we watched the Bourne movie, the new Bourne movie.
Yes.
And so I struggle to find positive things to say about that movie. So maybe you can help us as the Prince of Positivity.
Just anything positive. I like how it just got quiet and everyone looked at me again.
Because I haven't seen it yet.
But
So don't spoil it for me.
Julia Stiles aged pretty well. She's still cute.
That's
I'll
a
say
good.
that.
Yeah, that's
She's
that's
cute.
true.
And the other woman
Alicia Vikander.
from the robot from Ex Machina
Yeah,
was
yeah.
hot,
Yeah, that's true.
and Matt Damon's ripped.
Is she
So-
playing the new Tomb Raider?
Yes.
Oh.
So there you go. So we got
3 positive things.
it wasn't. Okay, here's the thing. That film, it was boring at points. It was clearly unnecessary. But any excuse to look at violence in a movie, I'm in.
Good man.
I mean,
And I'm a huge fan of Vincent Cassel. I think that was my biggest problem with that film. I'm sure people would find other reasons to not like that film, but I am a huge Vincent Cassel fan, huge. And
Ocean's 12.
I don't think I've only seen the first one.
Really?
Yeah. But for them to waste him, and if you've ever seen him in other stuff, what was the one he did? Marin, I don't know if you've seen, or Mayreen, or even going back to was it Lahane, his first film, I think. I think it was directed by the guy that did Amelie. I've always been a fan of his, and I know me and Victor like his taste in women. That's Monica Bellucci's husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So that was my biggest, honestly, my biggest beef of that film was that they wasted Vincent Cassel, because I think he's an amazing actor.
I agree with you. I thought the guy's a really strong actor, but I thought this in the first one, and I still think this now in the 4th one, or whichever one he actually popped up in before. I think it was the first or the second one.
First one, I think.
What in the fuck is a Frenchman working for the American CIA? How
You know
does this
what?
work? I don't get this. Is there an exchange program that we don't know about?
He's not French.
In the movie,
He's not French in the movie, is he?
he got a thick fucking French accent for a guy that's not French.
Did he? I thought he
I don't know.
He's got an accent. He's playing the accent's thick and it's there.
that negativity.
The only
man.
thing that movie proved to me is Jason Bourne is just the biggest troll.
Yeah.
Catch me, CIA.
I think we're talking about now what we're watching. What are you watching right now, Ray?
Well, Stranger Things, like everybody else. But I'm also watching Preacher, which is probably my favorite show right now.
Has anybody else gotten on the Preacher bandwagon?
I watched the first episode and I really liked it. I haven't had a chance to watch the rest.
Or
But what's his ex-girlfriend? The Nigerian chick.
Wait, real quick,
Oh my
sorry to
God.
interrupt, but
What's that?
for people like me and or listeners who haven't seen Preacher, what is that about?
It's a faith-based show about a preacher. That
Actually, it's a faith-based show,
Yeah.
probly targeted towards you, Victor.
You
I
like
don't know.
No,
I never.
it's about this preacher who's trying to save his like congregation,
Uh-huh.
but there's a lot of supernatural shit.
Comic book.
Yeah, it's based on a comic.
It's a,
book.
think
what- it was a wasn't
Yeah.
it a graphic novel
Yeah.
or was it a
I
full-on
thought it
comic?
was who wrote it?
But
I
Yeah.
know it's based off the
well, the twist is like the preacher used to be like this criminal, this like bank robber,
EP.
assassin, hitman.
Yeah.
So he does some fighting in it.
So
So there's a lot of
you,
like
you can't take the jungle out of the.
yeah.
the jungle out of what?
So like imagine a preacher
What?
trying.
What?
The jungle out of the jungler. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Wow. I'm gonna just stop.
How about you, Sans? You watching anything right now?
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
Just nothing. You got nothing. What if I widened out right now?
I
for the last thing?
finished season 3 of Deadbeat, which
What is
is
that?
a Hulu original starring Tyler Labine. He was Ryan Gosling's best friend on Breaker High. He was.
It's funny because those are all like
Tyler
words.
Labine's awesome.
I know who Ryan Gosling is.
You don't know what Tyler Labine is?
No.
You ever
I know
seen
what
Tucker
Hulu
and Dale
is.
versus Evil? Best Man Down. He's a really good actor. You should look him up.
I should.
Yeah, he's
I
really
did
good.
I did like 6 hours of watching shit for this week's podcast.
Since we are randomly talking about stuff, I want to hit on 2 things real quick. Just a serious topic. You guys noticed that the 8 was shut down today for like.
Oh yeah, I actually I drove through that. Yeah, well I was on the way to my office or the office today at 9, and the procession started at 9. You know what's crazy? It's a real beautiful sight.
No, yeah, I agree.
It was a real like.
It was the 8, right?
It was the 8,
was shut down for the procession for. I forgot. I think it
Officer
was,
de Guzman.
yeah, Officer de Guzman. He was shot. Was it 5 times?
I don't know. I don't know the particulars. I just know he was shot, killed in the line of duty.
Yeah, and I guess there was another officer, Wade Irvin. He was shot through the throat, but
Yeah, there were like 3, right?
Was it 3?
There was 3 cops that got shot.
I thought it was 2.
Yeah, I thought it was 2.
3 in Baton Rouge.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was confusing.
But yeah, it's like Chris mentioned, it was weird because I drove by it. I don't know why. As much as we like to bash Nolan, it reminded me of the funeral scene in the was it the Dark Knight?
Dark Knight.
Dark
Yeah.
Knight.
And yeah, it's weird because it's from a tragedy, but it was pretty beautiful to see. You know,
Yeah.
and it's weird. But anyway, I just wanted to be sentimental, you know, because I don't know. It's kind of fucked up.
It's extremely fucked
Yeah,
up.
and I don't know. This kind of goes back to, I guess, going back to episode 1 when I was talking about my beef with heroes, because
yeah.
this is the kind of thing that when I think of hero, this is what it is. It's not, you know, Superman may be dead and then at the end, the dirt rises off his coffin. Like this guy, he gave his life and he doesn't have a secret identity. Every time he puts on his uniform, you know he's a cop and he's a target.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, I guess, give my condolences to his family and just, you know, recognize an officer paying the ultimate sacrifice because it's sad. So sorry, not to start the show off on a damper, but I don't know. I just think it's important.
No,
and we're in San Diego, by the way.
It was
that's-
interesting because I take that route. I go up the Friars Road from
Okay.
Mission Gorge,
Yeah.
and I just hop on the 8. And right when I got to, because
it was solid.
It started at 9, yeah.
Yeah.
And right when I got to Friars, I took 15 North instead and went to Arrow and then hopped back on because it worked.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was driving by, as I was on the on ramp, I saw Indio police from driving here, and I guess there were police from all around the nation
Wow.
that came to this, and then I saw on the overpasses there were fire trucks.
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they had put their flags out, and then I was driving on the ramp, and there was a parking lot, like the northeast side of the parking lot at Qualcomm Stadium. All the cops were in there, and they all had their dome lights going.
It's crazy.
And it was, it was definitely insane. And I I texted a friend, and I have a friend who's in the CHP, and I got another friend who's a sheriff, and it kind of hits home for you that what they do every day, because he's told us stories, and he was always like, he's my best friend, and he was always the adrenaline junkie of the group, and he tells me these stories about, he was working West LA, for a little. And that for people who don't know, when you're in the highway patrol, you get all the unincorporated areas too. So he got like Compton, like, and he would tell me stories about just the stuff he saw and the things he had to deal with. And it's just you're right. It's just a crazy time that we're living in. And that's the most simple way to put it is we're just living in strange days. And hopefully it all shakes out and we get better, and hopefully this is the height of it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, since we're already in a down mood, I'm gonna drop one more story on you guys. It affects me. I don't think it'll affect you guys as much as it affected me, but why is Drake beefing with Eminem? That
he is?
He is?
Apparently, yeah. That makes me sad.
When did that happen?
I don't know. I mean, I saw an article on Yahoo and then I Googled it and it's like everywhere. So it's rumors right now, but apparently diss tracks are supposed to be released. And it just makes me sad because Drake ain't got a chance in that fight.
You know those new Drake vocals coming yet?
I saw a thing on Twitter. It said,
I like that.
It said something like, when you're beefing with a guy who made a movie about rap battles, about how to win rap battles. And then it was like, that was like a Twitter thing. What do you call those, memes?
Meme?
Yeah. So that's the first I've heard of it.
Well,
I
the whole
to it, but
why would he have beef?
Well, the whole story is, do you guys know who, he's on Shady Aftermath. Hold on, I forgot his name. Joe Budden.
Joe Budden's on Shady Aftermath now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Joe Budden's good. He's a really good rapper.
No, I like him. New Jersey.
And so basically, he dissed Drake on, I think, a song called Making of a Murderer. And so I guess him and Drake have beef, and supposedly Eminem's jumping in it. But I don't know. I actually, unlike the rest of you haters, I actually like Drake. I think he serves a purpose. And I think Eminem's
everybody needs a clown to laugh at. So
I think
I like Take Care. Like I listened to that album, and I thought it's a good.
I think Back to Back's a good. That's a good diss track, dude. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not No Vaseline. I think No Vaseline's like the Jordan of
Do you think No Vaseline's better than Hit 'Em Up?
Oh yeah,
Hit 'Em Up is just raw.
No,
emotion.
because Hit 'Em Up is firing at Biggie Smalls. Ice Cube basically dressed down and dissed the hardest rap group on earth at the time.
That's true.
Very convincingly. Very convincingly.
But he was the guy who made.
But you didn't know that at the time.
You didn't know that
at the time. He was the guy that they were. And remember, they called him out. They made him. He was the bitch that left. So when he did that song, oh man. I still remember the first time I heard it.
Technically, though, for Hit 'Em Up, at the very end of the song, he's saying, Biggie, fuck you too. Bad boy, fuck you too. He's calling out everybody.
He basically gets on the whole coast on Hit 'Em Up.
Technically, he says it.
It's not this, dude. The lyrics of No Vaseline.
I mean, it's a better.
Let me put it this way.
No Vaseline's a better beat.
No, it's just a better song. If I had to get dissed,
even Carlos is disagreeing.
How is No Vaseline not a better beat, Carlos?
If I had to get dissed, Hit 'Em Up. No, here's the thing, because there's a talent to writing. Hit 'Em Up is, and I love Tupac. Tupac is my favorite. Like, I like Tupac back when he did his verse on Same Song. Like, I was there day one. Okay,
sure.
So I know Tupac was a great rapper, but No Vaseline was just better lyrics. The wordplay was just better. Tupac was basically an angry dude saying "fuck you" as many ways as he could. Ice Cube stripped them of everything that they were. He stripped them. It was basically, he said this shit. It's like your girlfriend dumping you and then making a scene in front of all your friends because she knows the things that you ain't telling your friends. Where Tupac is just the dude that don't like you. So Ice Cube, straight up, No Vaseline is fucking brutal, dude.
I don't know, man. The first lyric is, first off, fuck that bitch, fuck your bitch, and that click you claim.
Okay. Like, what was Ice Cube's first?
That's why I fucked you.
What was? Do you remember how No Vaseline started? It was a bunch of voiceovers of people basically dissing NWA, talking about how they've lost it since Ice Cube left. And his first word is, I'm glad you folks said it all or something. Yeah.
It used to be
hard. Now you went soft. Whatever. I'm sorry, Ice Cube. You can't convince me. I love Tupac. I love Hit 'Em Up, but No Vaseline is just, come on.
No.
Come on.
It digs straight.
These
to
are
the
these are supposed to be basically
like
what
the
he's saying
beat
is
better. I
you
think
guys are supposed to be hardcore and real, and your manager is fucking you with no Vaseline.
Right.
That's way.
That's true.
That's
No,
the same.
that's true.
Is that the
That's
same
way
one
worse.
with the anti-Semitic?
Well, yeah. For a while,
Well-
you could even get it without
That's-
them censoring out the word Jew. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Could you let it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You were
No,
listening-
Mama said knock you out.
That's a good one. I never looked at that as a diss, but I guess it was.
Isn't it? It's a cool mode.
It's a cool mode, wasn't it? Yeah.
Or is it a? Yeah, I think it's.
Anyway,
There's
sorry.
that one song, well, no, he only chimed in with that one song with Cannabis.
Can I bust? Or,
I
4, 3, 2, 1.
I remember when that happened, and everyone was like, "Oh man, Cannabis is gonna win," and I was just like, because remember, LL Cool J dissed them on the song that they did together.
Yeah,
4,
that
3,
one,
2,
that
1.
one, that
Yeah,
one.
right. It was the
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1 remix.
Yeah. So,
But it wasn't
anyway.
really. It was just. All he said was like, "I'm gonna take this mic off your arm. Let me take this mic off your arm." And Cannabis took it as a slight because he just wanted to get some shine.
Yeah, but I don't
Who
know.
doesn't want some shine?
I don't.
Anyway, so now that I've started this podcast off on a negative note, let's
so positive.
let's go to
That's
let's go
right,
to
that's
happier
right.
days. Like,
That's right. Welcome back to Hip Hop Nation.
wow,
Welcome back
you know what, Ray?
to the brunch club.
You know what, Ray?
Yeah.
Ray,
Breakfast Club.
Ray.
Breakfast club.
Hey, I.
Put some respect on that
First
lunch.
off, all three of y'all need to put some respect on my
I'm
name.
changing the podcast.
If there's
name.
salad on that steak, I will send it back.
All right.
Why,
I'm talking to all three of y'all. All right, some respect on my name.
Fucking
We're supposed to be
inspirational
talking about
show or
nostalgia,
business.
but I feel like we've drifted into like music and hip hop and beefs.
Hip hop
You know
is
what?
nostalgia.
I think you're being a little nostalgic for Eminem, circa 2000. Oh my god.
All right, well, since we're stepping into nostalgia
Hip Hop Nation.
through music,
Hip hop dinner.
I think it's a good.
what's the first rap album you guys bought? Since we're stepping in that way,
First rap in my bot.
or were you guys into rap?
It was
Sir Mix a Lot.
Really?
the first.
Hey, I was like 6 or 7 or something.
Wow.
I think it was. I mean,
I was in my
late.
teens actually.
Yeah, but
I
I
played
think
the
I
fuck
was
out of that
13.
tape.
I was broke. I wasn't a rich kid. Sorry.
It was only Baby Got Back, and then I'm like, what the fuck is Swap Meet Louie? So for some reason,
I never- I was never on that
I would
train.
listen to Swap Meet Louie.
I was never on that train. Mine was the Chronic.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know.
It was all downhill from there.
It kind of was. I mean, it definitely never beat it.
That's like saying I bought an expansion team and the first guy I drafted was Michael Jordan. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, good luck with following that up.
Right?
Ray,
Well,
if
I
you
didn't
say
buy
third
it.
base,
I didn't. Well,
Pop
the
goes the weasel.
first one I
Pop
had
goes
was,
the weasel, Pop.
was Chris Cross.
Was that before the Chronic?
Till he crossed that was way
It
before.
was. It was like
That was a few years
couple-
I had it
before.
on cassette.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that was okay.
Yeah, but the first music
So
I
I'm trying to rob,
purchased,
but they can't flow like this. Oh,
the first music I purchased was TLC's first album.
What? How does that?
Oh, wait, baby.
That's 92 though. I mean, doesn't Criss Cross come out?
yeah,
before
Chris
that?
Cross was before TLC.
Yeah, I know. I was saying
You went
First-
back in time.
Would you have a time machine?
No, I was saying
you went ahead.
the first thing I've ever
Nostalgia,
heard,
baby.
like the first kind of like
Oh, you're saying you stole tapes from Warehouse?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
fucking thief.
you wrong, Ray. You wrong.
Welcome to Hip Hop Nation.
Wow.
Just stealing stuff.
What was yours, Vic? Oh, you already said. What'd
Sir
you say?
Mix-a-Lot.
Oh.
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Mine was Death Certificate.
Oh, okay.
To
so
this
that makes
day,
sense.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's
Damn.
one of my faves.
That was produced by the Terror Squad.
Was it?
Isn't that his
No.
first solo album where he went to?
No. His first solo album was America's Most Wanted.
Oh, okay. That was the one produced by the.
That was
Public
him.
Enemies
I think he. I can't remember who produced it.
That's got it. It's got it. Today was a good day on it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yep.
That was good. That was a good
That's the
album.
one that ends with no Vaseline. That's the last song on that album.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the closer.
Oh. For
It's,
some reason, I
uh,
thought that was on his first one, but I guess
Stay True to the Game, Good Day. What else?
DOS Effects, the DOS Effects song,
Ooh.
right?
Which one?
Oh,
The one he did with the duet with DOS Effects. They want to. There was the.
Yeah. It's like a jungle sometimes makes me wonder how I keep
He used
going
that sample.
Oh no, that was the next
Check
album.
yourself.
Really?
That's the next album.
Sure.
Trust me. Because there's a part at the beginning of the okay, for all the listeners, there used to be these things called cassettes, and there was the A side and there was the B side, and typically the best songs were on the A side, but on his B side, it starts off with like Big Bird talking about like he found an old book of poetry, and it's literally just him rapping different verses that switch. Man. Do you remember that when he keeps switching the beat like after every verse?
Oh yeah, jacking for beats.
No, it's not that one.
No.
It's literally he just has a verse and then it switches to another song. Like one was
Don't remember.
You can't turn the ghetto into Black Korea. A bird in the hand is worth more than a bush.
Yes.
Anyway.
This is it's all that's the one thing that any young viewers that we didn't lose after our WKRP in Cincinnati drops last week that are still tuning in. I think that,
I don't know, man. I think we've given them stuff to Google.
You guys also referenced Warehouse.
Yeah, the Warehouse. It was a place
which doesn't exist anymore.
What was this place where you could buy tapes?
Sam
Did you have was that a regional thing or?
Did you guys have Camelots out here?
Yeah,
I think so.
There was a Camelot in Horton Plaza.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We showing our age now. I worked at Suncoast.
Oh,
that's
okay.
right. I
So-
remember you told me that before.
So watching that, okay, here we go, nostalgia. We're about to
That brings us into
We're about to switch it over to film. What was that movie? Take Me Home,
Take Me Home Tonight.
Oh, Taking Me Home Tonight.
dude. They nailed it.
Did they?
They nailed it, dude. At the beginning when he's working at Suncoast, they nailed it.
Oh yeah.
It's scary. When I
You're
saw,
saying that's how Suncoast really is.
yes,
That's the one with Topher Grace.
Topher
right?
Grace. Yeah,
I like that guy.
When that movie opened up, I was like, I literally had PTSD for a second.
Really?
I actually liked working at Suncoast, but it's scary how much they nailed it. Yeah. So
What was your? What was the big thing at Suncoast? I mean,
Anime.
did I tell you about that?
Yeah, you
we
did.
worked at, well, I was in Kansas City at the Ward Parkway. Ward Parkway is an interesting place. Imagine, if you will, National City across the street from like Del Mar.
Oh, it's like 8 Mile.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Like that's the area that the Chiefs players lived in. And like 2 blocks down the road, someone was getting shot.
Wow.
And that's where our mall was. So, and we were
Where? No, was it on the getting shot side or was it on the Chief player side?
either or.
No, the mall.
It
Or was it like
literally
right in the
there.
middle? It was
like
right in the
there.
middle?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But we sold anime. We started selling anime. Well, I guess they sold it before I started, but our selection like tripled, and we would literally get our shipments in every Thursday, and by that Sunday, it would be an empty section, like
Wow.
always. And I think at the
Wow.
time, I know Victor's the anime fan, but at the time, I know Pokemon was big, but was it Neon Genesis was huge?
Evangelion? That's what's up,
yeah,
baby.
that would fly
was it
off.
Kira?
Sick.
Was it Kira huge?
Wasn't there something like a girl's name? Ranma. Ranma
Ranma
flew.
By this video, you know what's up. I
Oh,
was
was-
always there.
Victor's all about that Rama.
Yeah.
Well, no, here's the thing. Like certain, after a while, we didn't even stock the
Yeah.
section anymore. We would just, because people could reserve videos. So people would call and just put their name. And this is back with VHS. Okay, for our listeners, there used to be these things called VHS cassette tapes. And they held like, 2 hours worth?
Yeah.
But I think those,
you could
3 hours
yeah.
if you use the.
but it was like 2
extra
episodes
long.
per
Yeah.
tape, right?
You gotta rewind it before you read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at our
Rewind, rewind.
At our store, the dubbed were $19.99, the subtitle were $29.99.
Yeah.
After a while, we quit ordering the dubbed because
Thank
everyone
God.
refused to get the dubbed.
Thank
it was
God.
all subtitles, so we would literally sell this crap out of the boxes without
Don't you dare
even
call it
stocking.
crap.
Well, no, I mean, but anyway, the whole point of the story is, at a certain point, we got recognized because we sold more anime than any store in the nation in
Wow.
freaking Kansas City.
That
I
came
will
way
say,
later.
out of all the people that came into the store, the anime people were the most memorable, to say the least. There were some creepy ones, but okay, I was never an anime person. Like, I used to hate anime. Did I ever tell you this story?
No, fuck you for that.
The first anime I saw was Ninja Scroll. Hated it.
What?
I hated Ninja Scroll.
How do you hate
That's
Ninja
surprising
And
because
then
I thought you'd like that.
And then I saw Akira, and but remember, I was like a teenager at the time, so I saw Akira, and I was like, it's cool to look at, but I wasn't a fan of Akira either.
Good man.
And then, what's the last one? Basically, I saw all of the standards. It wasn't Vampire Hunter D. I kind of wish I had seen that first because I probably would have liked the anime.
Did you watch Robot Carnival?
No,
Sci-Fi
I think.
Channel?
Oh no, was it Wicked City? I saw Wicked City.
Oh.
Wicked City Shinjuku? Oh man.
I didn't like that either. So
Oh
I
my
was
God.
I thought anime sucked, and I worked with a guy that was as much in the anime as you, and he basically listened to me bitch, and he said, "You're probably a Trigun guy."
Oh my god!
So he
Trigun?
he turned me on the Trigun, and yeah, that was my way in.
And welcome back to Weeaboo Nation.
But to his credit, he told me, "Yeah, you're not an anime fan. You're not a true anime fan."
Chris's eyes
So,
are
and from your
glazed
reaction, apparently he was right. So we went from hip hop to anime.
I mean, we went from movies, which is the main topic, to hip hop.
Welcome
to
the
anime.
Film Zealots podcast.
We're all
where
over
we
the
talk
place.
about everything but film.
Everything.
And
everything.
Pop culture's in there.
No, I don't have any problem sitting around talking about anime. I just don't watch it. I mean, not that I've seen some.
Let's hear that. That's like all our fans. Like, man, these guys are some nerds.
All right.
All right. Let's get into
Let's
the
talk about
crux of
movies.
this.
Hey, how about that?
Let's get into the crux.
Thank you
of
for
this.
listening to Weeaboo Nation.
Yeah.
All right,
No.
guys.
Yes.
So we've basically been talking nostalgia. How do you define nostalgia?
Okay. So I've been thinking about this a lot because you see it all over the internet. You know, like there's those like memes that are like, if you nostalgia, you lose, and it's you're a '90s kid if you're an '80s kid if, and all this shit. And I think they're all based on bringing you this kind of nostalgic feeling. I think it's a feeling. You know what I mean? Like ideally, like at its base, nostalgia is a feeling that transports you back to when you were young, or it reminds you of your youth, right? It's like people are nostalgic in a lot of ways, but I think the main way is just a reminder that you're young, you know? So I think that's it for me. In terms of film, I think I see a lot of film that's doing it. Or media that's doing it, Stranger Things, and I mean, you made a good point that Back to the Future is a nostalgic movie, right? I mean, for baby boomers, like Back to the Future's, there's this nostalgia to it that people love, but did it really resonate with baby boomers? Not as much as it resonated with old Gen Xers, right? I think it was a teenage film.
No, that was a huge hit.
I know it was a huge hit.
I think people liked it across the board.
But what makes a hit? It's like 18 to 34s. And like
No. I mean,
85,
as far as when that film came out, it was a huge hit. I think it was probably the most successful film that year.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I mean,
but my parents aren't like, if I took my parents and I was like, oh, what's one of your favorite movies?
oh,
Back
I got
to the Future is not fucking coming up. But like, if we pulled this
True.
room, there's a chance it hits a certain age group, even though it's about their age.
Well, I think any nostalgia film, I think by definition, it's a film made past the time that it would be one of your favorite films. Like you mentioned Stranger Things. I don't think 10 years from now we're going to be like, man, that was the greatest TV show ever. We'll probably still be talking about a TV show from the 90s.
Right.
So,
yeah. You said it's pretty good, Alan?
Almost up there with one of the greatest TV shows ever.
Is it? I mean, I'm 4 episodes in, and
I've
I feel
never
like,
seen, so I don't.
Yeah. No, I'm 4 episodes in. Ray, you've seen the whole thing. Victor, have you seen the whole thing?
No, yeah, I'm just about halfway through the season. I remember you were saying that, like, in the first episode, which I can understand, they really kind of push the envelope, like, hey, this is the 80s, or hey.
It seems hacky. Like, there's some things in it that feel hacky.
Wow.
Like, I was trying to examine
are
it.
made of these. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
like okay, yeah, you're playing the Eurythmics, and
Well, they're
you
around-
make it you make it a point to show like the camera where the camera lands. You make it a point to show the dad adjusting rabbit ears because that's what people do in the 80s. They got rabbit ears and they hit the side of the TV.
So it's set in the 80s?
It's set in the 80s.
So what's wrong with that?
There's nothing. See here, and I'm trying to figure this out. This
He's
is
talking
something I'm
about all
working
the
on.
plugins that the director put in, like, oh, this is what we did in the 80s kind of thing. All the little things, all the subtle
Like
things.
you
that
were,
people
the viewer's
just did all
smart.
together.
The viewers are smart
Well,
enough to know when
okay.
a show's set. You don't need to.
Let's take a look at it from a technical standpoint. When you need coverage for a scene, like if it's set in the 80s, of course that's what's going to happen in your coverage, right? If the TV
It's
is,
not. I mean, it's in the middle of a scene, and it's like
if the
kids
TV's
in the
part
foreground.
of, well, I mean, if the TV's part of the scene, whatever, like
The TV's not integral to the scene at all.
I think
It's
he's saying that
only
they make it
there
so
to point
apparent.
out that
Yeah.
it's the 80s.
is it?
It is.
I got
There's
I got a question though. Does it take away from the scene?
yes, I think it does because I think that and here's a big thing for me
C105 disagrees.
is that I feel like a lot of shows dumb down stuff for the viewers. Like the viewers is gonna get it. They're not. You don't have to hold everybody's hand through every narrative. And I think that
But I don't understand like why.
I think it's a nostalgia play. It's doing it.
But
Well,
it's
I
set
think-
in the
I think-
80s.
I,
Okay.
setting a tone. Yeah.
It's setting.
I can see that. You done?
All right. Well, here's my take because I haven't seen this show, but I'm actually in the middle. Like I'm surprisingly in the middle because I understand both of your viewpoints, and I guess the way I look at nostalgia is so many times, especially now when something nostalgic comes out, I always hear people say it looks like it would have been made in this time period, and when I hear that, then I would veer more towards what Chris is saying, because in the 80s, we knew everyone had rabbit ears. So you didn't see in every movie in the 80s people messing with rabbit ears. But you did see it occasionally, but you didn't see it all the time because we all knew it. We didn't need to see it, you know? But if you're talking about just establishing, because you have to understand, there are a lot of people that don't even know what the hell rabbit ears are anymore.
Oh well,
so
I mean,
throwing it in the
they're making a comeback. No, seriously, for HD, you got a lot of cord cutters.
Yeah,
a lot of people are buying rabbit ears so they can get digital signals.
But what I'm saying is, if it's in the background, it sounds like. I mean, I haven't seen this, but just going up the way you're describing this scenes, it sounds like it's almost like when you're talking. I got like the dinner table scene in ET, where it's like everyone's doing something and there may be something in the background. And if the father is messing with the rabbit ears in the background, I don't know how that takes away from the scene unless he just yells, these rabbit ears or whatever. But if
that's
if he's just in the background, I don't see how it takes away. But I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Well, wait. I also want to pose the question: is it because you're also coming on into this like with the? This is why I hate the internet. Like, you have this environment, like everyone's got a hard on for this show, and a lot of the stuff that's not coming from the production like applies this thick 80s nostalgia context to it, but I feel like the show rises above that. And
I see that. Yeah, I can see that getting towards episode 4 that it's breaking away from it, but like it's thickly there with the music they use, like their musical cues, their introduction.
I think
you can make a show set in the 80s. You don't need to make a show that looks like it was shot in the 80s.
But
I don't think there's any merit.
I also think the title sequence alone already tells you that they're gonna have those points in there.
Would the show have been hurt by a modern title sequence?
No, but I'm just saying it's just showing it, like it's setting a tone, like Carlos was saying.
Yeah, the tone is,
I got it.
Oh look, we remember the 80s.
Yeah, I got a question.
That's the tone that it wants to set.
So what's wrong with what's wrong with going for it? Okay,
I mean that's
here's why I'm saying
I just feel you're hating
because
hating on it because of everything that isn't part of it.
I know, because I think it's very like, I think my critique of the show is very much of the show. It's like and it brought me back to like Super 8 versus like a Richard Linklater movie like Dazed and Confused or Everybody Wants Some, which I watched. He's making a movie about the 70s. He doesn't need to shoot it like somebody shot fucking Serpico. Like it doesn't, like you don't need to shoot it that way. Because I think it cheapens the material.
Shot that way though.
I think Stranger Things is shot like an 80s.
Again, my question is what's wrong with that?
Because I think you're aping somebody else's style instead of having your own.
Okay, well, the reason I asked this is because the last short I made was based off of Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah, but I watched your short and it didn't look like.
It totally looks like something from Tales from the Dark Side. Oh, so you're saying I failed?
I mean, it was,
which is probably true. I fell a lot.
I liked your short,
but my point is, I don't think that I haven't seen the show, so it's hard for me to say who's right or who's wrong. But I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to recapture that look if it helps, because sometimes doing that actually helps. And I'll give you a prime example. Have you seen Hobo with a Shotgun?
Oh yeah,
probably not.
No, probably not. No.
Hobo with a Shotgun, to me, it's kind of like what a friend of mine said about The Devil's Rejects. Did you ever see The Devil's Rejects?
Yes.
Remember the whole Grindhouse craze that happened?
Yeah.
The thing about Devil's Rejects was it nailed it before that craze even happened.
Right.
The Devil's Rejects nailed it. Yes. And I remember when it came out, several people were like, yeah, this totally reminds me of the Grindhouse films of the 70s.
Yeah.
And I feel like Hobo with a Shotgun did that too. It felt like the kind of 80s film that I would have seen on USA Up All Night. And like the absurdity, the way it was shot, the music, everything fit in it. And to me, I forgot the director's name, but had he not filmed it that way, it would have lost a lot. So my question to you is, based on what you've seen so far, does the way that Stranger Things is shot, does it help the film or does it not?
I mean, I think for nostalgic, if it's a nostalgia play, it helps. Like if you believe that the way things were shot and looked in the 80s were the pinnacle, or like were this great, this great cinema, or this great style.
Take all that out. Just story. Does it help the story? Because again, with Hobo with a Shotgun, the way that movie starts off, that this is not reality. This is something else. But you have to buy in, because every time you go into a film, there's a world being constructed, and you're laying out the rules in the first 10 minutes, or in this TV show, maybe the first few episodes. So they're constructing this world. So what I'm saying is, this world that they're laying out, does the story fit within it, or do you think if they would have changed this world, the story would still be fine? Because I feel like Super 8, they could have shot it anyway, and it would have worked.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Is Stranger Things that way?
No, I think that's a tough question, because I think there are a lot of things in it where I look at it and I'm like, we've gotten past that. Like I know that character, and there are reasons why it's bad, and we've gotten past that.
Well, that's why I brought up the point of Kung Fury and Turbo Kid.
Yeah,
because that's what you should be complaining about.
I mean, I complain about anything, but
I
understand what you're saying.
Well, you saw Turbo Kid?
Yeah, I saw both.
So what'd you think?
I hated both of them.
You hated Turbo Kid?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my thing with Turbo Kid.
Because that was directly it wasn't even close to Hobo. I loved Hobo with a Shotgun. And with those two films, with Kung Fury and Turbo Kid, it was just look how 80s we can be. And I didn't really get that with Stranger Things.
See, it's funny you say that, because one thing that I keep hearing a lot is people keep mentioning USA Up All Night.
Yes.
It's always funny. People are like, oh, it looks like something to be on USA Up All Night. When I looked at Turbo Kid, it did not look like something that would be on USA Up All Night.
Like Hunk?
And the problem is, Turbo Kid, you have to understand, in the late 80s, early 90s, we were on this whole dystopic, post-apocalyptic thing with films. And when I think of that, I think of Millennium or Cyborg or what else? Hell Comes to Frogtown. Those films had a distinct look. And to me, Turbo Kid, I feel like it had everything. Well, I won't say it had everything. It basically had it had the window dressing, but it didn't have, for one, I felt like it was too bright. I feel like everything was clean. However, I thought it was a really good film. I don't think it was bad. But I don't think, again, this goes back to when I say is if you say that it looks like it was made of that time, I'm going to look at it and it through that lens. And I feel like Turbo Kid looks like a film that was made today. And it definitely kind of had those, I don't know, the whole, kind of like what Chris was saying, oh, look, this is from, the opening song. I don't know if you remember when he's riding his bike at the very beginning, they're playing Fire in Your Heart from Rad, the song from Rad.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't work because in Rad is during the bike race.
Oh, well, it's Stranger
playing
Things. It's in 83 and they play fucking Tears for Fears. Everybody Wants to Be the World. They play the Bangles. They play Hazy Shade of Winter. And I'm like, it's fucking 1983. That song isn't...
But what I'm saying is,
I don't even know what that is. I know a lot of words. I know that's a word.
I'm a writer. I know a lot of words, but I don't know what that means. So I'm taking
this like a bad episode of Frasier.
But the difference is, and I don't know.
So
again,
many big words.
For me, it's not just throwing the song in. It's the context. And it's kind of like imagine. Okay, we all know Karate Kid. We all know You're the Best Around.
Yeah,
it fits in that moment. Now, let's say I do a film about a kid that's a fighter, or he gets trained by some old guy. So it's basically a Karate Kid ripoff. But I play You're the Best Around at the beginning of the movie when he's waking up and brushing his teeth and about to go to school. It doesn't fit. And to me, with Turbo Kid playing that Fire in Your Heart song, it didn't fit. So immediately within the first 5 minutes, I was taken out of the film. However, the characters are great. Michael Ironside was an amazing villain. The girl that they got to play Apple was great.
Yeah.
I think it was a good film.
Yeah.
But I personally, for me, telling me that it's a nostalgia film that is like perfectly made, like a late 80s, early 90s post-apocalyptic film, that hurts it. And the thing is, and this is the way I look at it. Well, before I say that, this is the question I always ask when you do like nostalgic films. And you kind of hit on it with Back to the Future. Back to the Future may have been a nostalgic film for, say, our parents.
Yeah.
But who is the film made for?
It's made for us. I mean,
it's made for us.
The movie's technically set in 1985.
Yeah.
It just happens that he goes back to 1955.
But I look at Stranger Things, and I don't necessarily feel that Stranger Things is made for our generation.
And
just like I don't feel that Turbo Kid is made for our generation.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I'm somebody who tends to believe that things get better. Like, I think progress is continually being made by humans.
My name is Donald Trump, and I agree with you. Thank you.
No. I think things tend to get better. Like, I mean, like, I think art is it evolves, and I think art tends to get better over time. I don't know. I mean, it's a very subjective thing.
Art was good back in the Renaissance.
Circle of life.
You're a Renaissancist.
It's gotten weird. Well,
you're a Franciscan.
I don't believe in cyclical trends.
I mean, there are cyclical trends.
I think there's ups. Yeah, I think there's ups and downs. I keep turning away from the microphone.
Nostalgia movie, a parody.
I think that's a good point, and thank you. And I think that there's a line, and I think that Stranger Things gets really close to that line. I do. I think it just really rides.
What Carlos said was there's a difference between nostalgia and parody, and I agree, because for me, looking at Turbo Kid, I feel like it's more parody. Yeah, and it's funny. Like
that's how I feel about Kung Fury.
That's how I feel about Save Ron Jr.
I feel like Kung Fury went. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about Kung Fury. But one thing, and this is a trend of mine, a trend that I've noticed in films, and it drives me nuts as far as nostalgia goes, is the Power Glove.
Yeah.
We all remember the Power Glove, right?
Yeah.
So rad.
This is what kills me, because that's the thing. Most people that know about the Power Glove, they think about the Lucas scene from The Wizard, right?
Yeah.
Power Glove looked cool. How many people either had the Power Glove or had a friend that had a Power Glove?
I got it for
Christmas.
Christmas.
It was
I got it for
piece
Christmas.
of shit.
It was the
Hold on.
worst Christmas present
It's a
I ever
piece
got
of
in my
shit.
life.
Hold on. First,
Nobody-
so we have 3 people who had the Power Glove?
Yeah.
No,
Man, parents are rich.
No, I don't
My
know.
dad would never buy me that thing.
Yeah.
Shut up, Victor.
Yeah,
Our
I
neighbors
didn't have
had-
one.
I'm
I didn't have one.
I mean, I got it for Christmas. I have 3 brothers.
But what kills me is anytime
$6.
I got no
people do
brothers.
nostalgia, they always bring up the Power Glove. Like, we love that.
Yeah,
But
it
our
was
generation fucking hated the Power Glove.
Yeah, it's like in 50 years if people are like, everybody loved that Virtual Boy,
Yeah.
and nobody loved the Virtual
You're,
Boy.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Sans. Like some people had it, but like nobody loved it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's basically for me. If I'm gonna, throw down the gauntlet with nostalgia, I think that most nostalgic films are made for younger people because they see the Power Glove and like, oh, you guys had this thing and you guys loved it, and it's like, no, we didn't love it. It's as stupid as you think it was.
It sucked.
It sucked.
So I have a question for you, and I want to turn this back on you as a filmmaker, and I want to bring
She
you
said
into
she
this
was
fray,
18.
too. As a filmmaker, like you said that you're short, which is one of your first films, and you wanted to purposefully shoot it like it was a episode of Tales from the Dark Side, right?
Yes, sir.
These guys aren't that. I mean, like, if you had that kind of budget and you were given that kind of opportunity, would you choose to, and this is a J.J. Abrams thing too, would you choose to take somebody else's style, or would you want to find your own?
I know you're not a Coen Brothers fan.
I like some of their stuff.
I would follow their philosophy. Let the story decide. I think that in the end, the story, depending on the story, because I don't believe that any director should have a look, and I think that's why I love the Coen Brothers, because I think I don't.
That's one of my favorite things about directors,
because you can have a story that doesn't fit. Like if you look at The Big Lebowski, the way The Big Lebowski shot, if you shoot like Hell Caesar that way, it doesn't work, and if you shoot No Country for Old Men the way you shoot like Raising Arizona, it doesn't work. So you kind of have to let the script tell you how to make your film. That's just my take. Now, if you're like David Fincher, hey, okay, I disagree because he's great. But
I mean, he has a style. David Fincher
he does have a style, and
a very distinct visual signature.
In a way, his films all kind of have the same thing of he can make the most normal thing uncomfortable or wrong.
Yeah. So he's picking material that's similar. The Coen brothers go for a range of material.
And see, for me, I would rather be the Kubrick. I would rather have 2001 and then The Shining. You know, to me, it's like if you have that much talent at your disposal, you know, because clearly these people have talented crews. Why not try something new, man? Just fuck it.
Yeah, but
be weird.
is trying something new, trying something old?
No, because if it's the first time you do it, it's new.
Well, okay, it's new to you.
So,
It's like,
so going
it's like
to which
NBC's reruns in the '90s, they're new to you.
basically, but what you're saying about like J.J. Abrams, like I understand what you're saying about Super 8. Super 8 didn't need to look like a Spielberg film.
Yeah.
It didn't need to look like it. I don't think it helped it, but I don't think it hurt it either. My problem with Super 8 was that when you look at 80s films, either the kids were the focus of the films and the adults were like non-existent, or the adults were more interesting. That was my problem with Super 8. I felt like the adults just wasted time.
Yeah.
Anytime the adults were on screen, I was ready to take a nap.
Coach Taylor.
So yeah, great actor, right? But if you change that and make them more interesting, I have no problems with that movie.
You make the adults more interesting.
Yeah, the adults were boring to me.
So
in
if
that
you
movie.
change the adults and make them,
Were the adults interesting in E.T.?
But you
No.
didn't see them as much as you saw the adults in Super 8.
the adults in the Goonies weren't very interesting.
You didn't see them as much as you saw them in Super 8.
They're comedic.
They're comedic. Yeah, they're comedic devices.
And the
Fratellis
Fratellis were great.
Yeah, they're very interesting.
I like the
yeah.
Fratellis more, and I like
That's
the
a good
Goonies.
point. And Sloth.
I did.
And Sloth.
Yeah. But so yeah, I mean that's my take. But I mean, if you're a style guy, then I totally understand your argument.
Well, yeah, because I like
But then
like a
here's
Spike Lee film.
here's my-
and I know I'm gonna see like some French New Wave influence shit in it, and I just wait for it. And then once it gets there, like the dance scene in 25th hour, like once they're on the dance floor and you see that shit, and then it's like, that's what I.
But then here's my question: with all the filmmakers out there, how many styles are there? Because everyone's inspired by somebody. I mean, you look at a Spike Lee film.
Well,
I look at a Spike Lee film. I look at a Martin Scorsese film. Look at a Woody Allen film, and I see similarities.
Well, yeah. Well, I see. I'll take this back to Mark Maron's podcast. He was interviewing Jim Norton.
why you just plug another podcast?
Because it's great
God damn
and it's
it.
amazing. But I listened to him interview Jim Norton, and they were talking about
twice, by
how every time they'd go up in New York, anytime you see a young comedian, there's 3 styles that you can peg them in. It's like they're either doing Dave Attell, they're doing Mitch Hedberg, or they're doing somebody else, right? And like Mark Maron was said, yeah, but you understand that that's how a young comedian is. You use somebody else's voice until you can find your own.
Okay.
And I think that, for me at least, and this is very subjective, and I understand that I'm the extreme minority in my opinion in this, I like when they find their own. I like to see like a defined viewpoint that somebody has. And when I see them doing somebody else's stuff, I don't feel like I'm getting them. I feel like I'm getting them trying to be somebody else.
Okay, so if someone does a very long static take of someone just talking, are they copying Michael Mann? Are they copying John Carpenter? Or are they copying Akira Kurosawa?
Wait, so you
Because all 3 do that.
you don't like Spike Lee doing French New Wave stuff?
I love it.
So you're okay with him?
No, because that's just a part of his. That's just a part
but
of
you're
his.
not okay with
Hey,
No,
hey,
no, no,
Carlos,
no.
Why don't you step up to the
Wait,
plate?
wait,
Come
no,
on.
no, no, no,
Come
no.
on.
I'm trying to
No,
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 put
no,
some
I know,
respect
I
on
know, and I knew that would be a criticism of what I'm saying before I said it. But that's a part of his repertoire. That's not his whole repertoire.
I really need to watch
Like-
this show because I kind of feel okay. Here's not to throw you under the bus, but I kind of feel like you're taking that stance of I don't like it, therefore it's bad.
No, I'm not. I didn't say it was bad. I'm actually 4 episodes in, and I'm starting to like it more.
Okay,
Like It's really starting to catch on to me. But
but you don't
maybe
like
it
the
was,
style.
No, maybe it was the first.
Well-
the first episode I thought was just blatant, and it was just too much.
To going back to what you were saying, how you like use someone's style till you find your own.
Yeah.
These guys have a really like non-existent resume.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, they have a non-existent resume in as much as they haven't made a lot of studio stuff. But I mean, I'm
No,
sure that
like,
you
they've
don't
got,
get a
like-
director job.
No, they've got like I think they have like 3 like super indie films, and I think one of the brothers wrote like 2 episodes for some couple of big TV shows.
Wait,
Yeah.
they're black directors?
No, it's 2 brothers. Well, I don't know if maybe they are. I don't know.
Motherfucker.
I never saw.
Is it
Why
the
you get my
Russo
hopes
brothers?
up?
No, it's not the Russo brothers.
It's
Those
a,
are
it's
the
a,
Civil
it's
War
the,
guys.
I don't know how you pronounce it. Duffer. Or
Duffner.
Buffet.
Yeah.
Dufay.
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 The
Maybe
French
there's some
brothers.
French New Wave gonna be in there. I don't know.
Bonquise.
I don't know. I like to see what people's I like the individualism of film.
What if that's just their style though? I mean, what that's
if their style
thing?
is just to literally ape other people's style? That's their style.
So whose style are they biting?
I think they're taking like a hodgepodge of like 80s styles.
But that's
like,
so that's not biting someone's style. That's combining.
Well,
you just said you
if I
like
took,
what Spike Lee does, so you're accusing
have you
him
seen
of.
any of their other work?
I have not seen any of those.
So what if they just want to? Okay, we're gonna make the show and let's come off this kind, give it this kind of vibe. But maybe if they have other work, I don't know, Ray. Maybe you know more about them.
Super indie stuff.
Maybe it's just
What if it's isolated and it's just homage to the 80s because they really like movies
Yeah.
there, and that's
Then it
just
is.
this one time they kind of made it special for this because considering
They just
the
kind of
nature
made
of
it
the film.
special.
Why?
Yeah, and so
Wait,
for 8 episodes.
wait, you guys are attacking my co-host. What the hell?
Thank you, Sam.
You know what, Chris? I
Thank you.
agree. You know what?
Thank
I take
you.
it back.
Thank you. No, I
can't defend you. It'll take away from my positivity.
I could 100% be wrong, and I probably am.
Yeah. Well,
I
I like how you brought up Devil's Rejects also.
Oh no, I mean, again, I'm a huge horror fan, and I guess being a horror fan, that's kind of why I don't think it's wrong, because I mean, if you want to talk about a genre that just blatantly rips off other people, like, I mean, literally down to like scenes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
horror films. So, but you can still make it work. For instance, Ty West, a director I generally can't stand, but his film, was it the House of the Devil? House of the Devil. That's another film shot to look like it was made in the 80s, and he nailed it.
But what does that mean?
The difference is, and maybe this is your beef, because my thing is, you don't just make a film look like an 80s film. It has to feel like an 80s film.
Yeah.
And House of the Devil felt like an 80s film. So it had the slow beginning. It had the character development. It took her 20 minutes to get to the house to meet the creepy couple. And then they left. And then you have time with her walking around the house. You get the sense that it's a creepy house before things start happening to her.
Yeah.
So he nailed that.
Okay.
And so
the pacing's also.
it's very 80s
Very
pacing.
80s
Pacing for
pacing.
films today are different. Like
Right.
there's a lot of films from the 80s that are deemed like all-time
Slow.
great that would not work today just
Right.
because of the ADD. But I don't think I think everyone has kind of like what you said, use someone else's voice until you find your own.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't understand why, if you don't have if you have the resources, why not just try something? Because just because you film something that looks like it was made in the 80s doesn't mean it's going to look like another film that was made in the 80s. Like, if I made a film that looked like, if I did a comedy, and I wanted to shoot it like the 80s, that doesn't mean I'm ripping off Summer School. It doesn't mean I'm ripping off, One Crazy Summer. It just means I did another comedy that's supposed to look like it was made in the 80s, and I would call it Superbad.
Yeah, well, to bring some of like the filmmaking aspect to it, yeah, like depending on the director's, vision, if it's shot on film, there's film stock choices, there's lensing choices, there are things like that will kind of bring you back to the period that you're trying to achieve.
Sure.
For example, I was just listening to the American Cinematographers podcast today, and it was on Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the cinematographer, and they were talking about how a lot of their inspirations, they looked at old like Ektachrome, stuff like that, old film stock, and lensing and things like that, because what they were trying to achieve was old photograph,
Right.
like the cinematography of that,
Old photographs
of that era.
They wanted. Yeah.
You basically incited like 30 minutes of discussion.
Passion, pure passion.
But that's good.
No.
That's what it's
Your
all-
anger
No,
was
no,
foreplay, and then we made love to you with hate.
I love you all.
Vaseline.
However,
With no vaccine.
no, I think I don't see it as the same thing, and maybe that's just me like parsing and like splitting hairs like down to the smallest degree. And again, I am a self-professed hypocrite, and I believe that most people in the world are. But I don't know. At this point, I don't feel like that show needed that first episode to open up like that. And here's what I would say. My vindication would be, it would be all the shit on the internet. All the writing about this mentions not that it's a bad thing, but mentions it as a thing. So it's obviously a thing.
I got a question. So
Yeah, well, that's why I asked that question earlier.
is your argument, because maybe I'm taking this the wrong way, is your argument about making something look 80s, is it just the way this film is made or this show is made, or is that your argument across the board?
You know, it's funny because I was trying to figure that out. Like I was trying to like really like be introspective on this and think like, okay, I didn't have a problem because I watched that Everybody Wants Something, and it was like they do all this shit that I'm complaining about, like in Stranger Things. They basically, the first shot is a guy's turning on an 8-track to play Should I Stay or Should I Go? I think that's the
So again, back to what I think Ray said it too.
Is that my? I don't know my argument.
No, it's basically. I'm wondering if you're just not into the story, because for me, if it helps the story, it's not a big deal.
No. See, the thing is, I'm not into the story.
No,
I actually think I'm coming around on the show, but I don't like the style. Like you can like a piece of art without liking the style.
Does the style take you out of the show?
Me personally, it does. Other people, I think it brings them in. They're like, because like, remember Ray sent us that text when he first read it. The first 5 minutes of this, a kid with a gun, D&D, and kids on bikes.
Okay,
and he's in.
But what I'm saying is, step away from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
and like Super 8, or I don't know what other nostalgic films have tried to look like their 80s films, because you haven't seen Hobo with a Shotgun.
Well,
but like
everybody wants them.
But does it look like
it doesn't look like an 80s film?
Everybody wants them?
Yeah,
it does.
I don't think it looks like one. I think it looks like a Linklater film.
Well, that too, but like I was sitting there and I asked you that question, like, why do these like National Lampoon movies and like they try to do this but they fail?
Because I thought you were talking about the situations, the situations they're put in.
I mean, it's both aspects felt genuine.
It felt very Dazed and Confused to me.
Yeah,
I felt like they look the same, they feel the same, they're made by the same director.
And you like that?
I did like that.
And they're both 80s.
They're both period pieces. No, Dazed and Confused is 70s.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably less than 10 years apart.
So you just not like the 80s? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if it's like me.
Okay.
Like me feeling like I'm getting old. And like, why are you playing with my fucking feelings?
I think. Okay, this is where I jump sides, because.
Oh man.
I'm jumping on your side.
Oh, thank you.
Because I kind of think I get where you're going. It's one of those things where if you were around in the 80s, as we were, sadly, you know what it was like. It's kind of like if 20 years from now, all we describe music as was Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like, there was more to music than that. Or, I don't know, the only thing we mentioned about films was the Marvel Universe. There's more to film than that, you know?
Damn.
And I think I kind of like what I was saying about the Power Glove thing. It's like, for all the things, just think about all the things that happened from like 85 to 94.
Right.
Now think about what little you actually see mentioned, you know, on television.
Yeah.
It's like, for like, one of the reasons, like, I've never liked Ferris Bueller, but every time people mention 80s movies, like Ferris Bueller is like the first movie they mentioned. I hated that movie. Yeah. Everyone didn't like Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Ferris Bueller wasn't everyone's
universally
hero,
loved.
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I don't know. I guess music is different, but a lot of people, you know, you say 80s, it's Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Prince.
Yeah.
There was more to the 80s than them. You know, when people talk about the 80s, they talk about like, you know, all the loud colors and the teased hair. And what about the recession?
That was like 3 years.
Like
the loud colors and the teased hair were like 3 years.
Yeah, the 80s for like I think one of the most misunderstood shows ever is Miami Vice. Because when people look at Miami Vice, they look at how cool it was, you know,
right? Yeah, because of the phenomenon.
But the whole drug thing, that was dark. If you remember at the end of the 80s, man, it was dark.
That whole coke. Yeah, and you get these documentaries now that kind of go into
So for what the 80s were going into the 90s versus what a lot of people see now, because a lot of people now, they see it's kind of like when we were little, when we saw the 50s, you know?
Right.
Like, I mean, okay, I don't want to make this too dark, but like, for me, my family, the 50s were a little different.
What?
You know, because my family's from the South and they were black. So, you know,
Yeah.
So it wasn't, soda fountains and
Right, sock hops.
sock
Yeah,
hops.
Shoppies and
Yeah.
shit.
It was running.
Poodle skirts.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. But when you see, like even now, people still talk about the good old days.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And I think for the 80s, it's the same thing. So to jump on your side, Chris, I think it's a matter of basically when people say nostalgia and quote unquote, I'm trying to recreate the 80s, it's the same shit over and over.
Right.
It's nothing new. It's nothing. One of the few films I found were pretty genuine with recreating the 80s was the Transformers. Did you see that film?
Nope.
Or was it the Informers? It's by Bret Easton Ellis film.
Oh, okay. I can watch.
I think
that.
it's The Informer.
The Informers. Yeah, it had. I think it was. What's Johnny Depp's ex-wife, Amber Heard? It was like her first film.
Damn.
Oh man,
Yeah.
baby.
No,
But
I'm
no, I
watching
mean,
that.
but
I
seriously,
will.
because for me, that film, it kind of used the 80s as a backdrop, but it nailed how we were.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and basically, not to give anything away, but one of the B storylines was basically the beginning of AIDS in America. Like someone
okay.
has AIDS and they don't even realize what it is. Where if you're watching it,
Yeah.
But and to me, like most 80s films, they don't even bring up AIDS. AIDS was a huge thing in the 80s.
Oh yes, it was.
And that's and that's the way. And I guess that's why when it comes to nostalgia films, I realize it's just we're gonna read the cliff notes and go with that.
right.
So your beef with Stranger Things, I get it, but would it be what it was if they mentioned the recession and AIDS and the crack epidemic?
Well, I mean, can't you just show like unpaid bills on the table or something? I mean, if you know what I mean, like, can't
but you didn't
just
see
have,
that
like,
in the 80s at all.
Can't you see like a news report about what the AIDS scare or whatever? Because didn't he call it
the
like,
falling of the Berlin Wall?
the falling? That was that in 89, 91?
Or
That
Rabbit
was in the
Ears.
80s.
No, that was
Or
late,
rabbit
that
ears?
was late 80s.
That was late 80s.
Like 89. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean, it's not. Here's the thing. It's
okay.
not a beef.
I got a question.
Yeah.
At any point, is a kid watching Knight Rider?
Not that I've seen.
No? Fuck that
No.
show. I'm done.
Ew.
Yeah. I mean, it's just. Here's the thing. I don't want people to think it's a beef because I don't necessarily
Why you
dislike the
apologize?
show.
Don't apologize.
I'm not apologizing,
Don't
and I'm not
apologize.
backtracking. It's not that I don't like the show, but I feel like there's a continuum between a parody film and a film set in a time, and I feel like it's kind of like sitting dead in the middle, and sometimes on the bad side.
So it's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Is it?
I don't know. I just wanted to mention that movie.
All right. I don't know. I don't think it is. But
I like how you guys you're really trying to work it out in your head.
What else? You got anything else?
no, I mean that's all I got on that. Not that that's all I got, but I mean like that because that was a lot. That's
All right.
what happened.
So let's
No,
wrap
well,
this
this-
up. Let's bring it back to today, Chris and Ray.
Let's do it
Let's talk about brilliant filmmakers, shall we?
today.
Today, like
Just
now,
right today.
like we're going to modern times. I think when you look at filmmaking, there's like I don't know how many like great filmmakers would you say there are in Hollywood? I'd say Fincher. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Um,
Great filmmakers in Hollywood.
I'd say Fincher. I'd say Tarantino. I'm beginning to like what's the guy that did Sicario? What's his name again?
Dennis Villanueva.
Villanueva. I'm liking him.
Villanueva.
Who else is great? Who else has seemingly come out of nowhere to just kind of recreate? Almost you can almost say he created his own universe, so to speak. Like he brought light.
You mean like in a universe that folds in on itself and then reveals another universe?
I feel like he brought light to a dark night,
Sans.
and he like began a movement that's rising.
Have you seen that? Are you saying that he's done that since the inception of film? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think that his talent is beyond Earth. It's interstellar.
It's interstellar. Oh,
I think.
do you think it breaches the fifth dimension?
I think this guy is so brilliant that he must stay up at night like he has insomnia.
Oh my god.
Dunkirk too, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So anyway, we're
Wait,
talking
wait,
about
mention that.
Christopher
Wait,
Nolan.
hold on.
We're talking about Christopher Nolan.
Are y'all done?
You
Because
know how-
Dunkirk.
You know how I know you're full of shit?
We talking
It's
about?
because you slow rolled the shit out of this.
We talking about?
You milked that shit.
What?
That was great.
What? Anyway, so I saw a trailer for his film called Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. It's a World War II movie, I guess.
Yeah, it's a World War II movie. It's a teaser. Doesn't give
Yeah.
away much, but you know what? I'm interested.
Who's in this?
Who cares?
Really?
You know. Anytime Nolan directs a film, it's a Nolan film.
You know,
it's like Spielberg back in the day.
Wow.
It's like, who's in it? Fuck him.
Fuck.
The only
wow.
characters that ever were as important as Spielberg in a Spielberg film was the damn T-Rex and E.T. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think Indiana Jones?
Hell no.
Come on, man.
In retrospect, yeah, but it was like, oh, the guy that did Close Encounters, fuck yeah, I'll watch.
I'm trying real hard. I'm like, you know what I'm like right now?
What?
I'm like Jules in the diner.
So
at the end of Pulp Fiction.
So you're caught in the red.
No, like I'm Jules in the diner at the end of Pulp Fiction when he really just wants to shoot those people. Like I'm trying so hard not to be negative about Christopher Nolan.
So you're trying hard.
I'm trying so
you're trying hard to be the shepherd, Ringo.
I'm trying hard to be the shepherd right
Ringo.
now.
I'm trying hard.
I have tried so fucking hard.
Okay, here's my thing. I'm gonna, because if anyone actually listens to this, I have been accused many a times of being a Christopher Nolan hater.
Yeah,
and there's two reasons for this. One, and I stand by this, I feel like most people would not be a Christopher Nolan fan had it not been for the Dark Knight trilogy. That's one.
Yeah.
Second, I think the Dark Knight trilogy is overrated. Okay?
Yeah.
Those two things aside, an overrated film does not mean that it's a bad film.
Sure. That's right.
I don't think they're bad films.
You know, Sans?
I just think that they're a bit overrated.
You know, Sans?
A bit?
And I personally think, if nothing else, to me, the most important job of a director is finding a great crew.
Okay.
And his cinematographer is pretty damn amazing.
He's great.
He is amazing.
You know what's funny? I want to see him work with Michael Bay.
Okay. Chris has gone bye-bye for the rest of this episode.
Man.
But my point is, I think Christopher Nolan is a good director.
What, Carla?
I think going back to what I was saying earlier, I think Christopher Nolan likes to try new things, and I have no problem. No, listen to me. I'm not saying he's great. I think that he's trying to improve. And I think that's the difference. I think there's those directors in Hollywood that kind of just phone it in, like a Brett Ratner. It's like, I'm a director, I'm going to do this film. I didn't say he sucks. I just said Brett Ratner is not going to do anything that shakes it up.
Of butts.
Whereas Fincher or Tarantino would be like, hey, I'm going to try something new. Hell, even J.J. Abrams would inadvertently do something new.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Trek, the first one was pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And it was, I thought it was clever. But I feel like Nolan, in my opinion, Nolan has not done a phenomenal film. And I know right now, there are a lot of Nolan fans that are like, fuck this guy.
He's like, they're all like, he's never not done one.
Yeah, no, you know what? Here's the thing. I understand why they feel that way.
Why? Because I don't.
But you've seen a lot of films. Like, okay, have I ever told you my biggest beef with The Dark Knight?
No.
Okay. My biggest beef with The Dark Knight, just the way it looks, the way it's paced, and even some of the characters, especially the first fucking 20 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
Who's one of my three favorite directors? Michael Mann.
Michael Mann.
Is that not a Michael Mann movie?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's very much a Michael Mann film. Yeah. So when you tell me that this director is breaking new ground and doing something new, and I'm like, dude, I can name like 5 movies that, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good movie.
Sometimes you gotta use someone else's style before you find your own.
I agree. But see, here's the thing.
I would hope he has his own style.
Here's my problem.
I would hope he has his own style.
No, Nolan does have his own. He has his own style.
Yeah.
But The Dark Knight was a Michael Mann film, just straight up. Yeah. But my other beef, and this is where I get yelled at too, that film, and I'm totally keen on The Dark Knight because that's the best of the three, is you take the Joker out of the film, it's unwatchable because the story is pointless.
Yeah.
Without the Joker.
Well,
I know people are like, well, you can't have a superhero movie without a villain. Okay, right, whatever. Iron Man was a better film.
Thank you.
And it barely has a villain. It barely has a villain. It has a great hero. But that's neither here nor there because I still think that Christopher Nolan is a good director, which brings me back to Dunkirk.
Hold on.
It looks interesting.
Okay, all right.
In the 10 seconds that I saw.
No, I mean, we got to back this out. If Christopher Nolan's a good director, then what's Jon Favreau?
A great director.
Do you really want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Are we going career?
Because you said,
are we going career or are we just going on those films? Career?
Yeah.
I like Jon Favreau.
Boom.
I think Jon Favreau doing Iron Man is kind of like the guy that did I forgot his name. The guy that did was it? What's
Galaxy Quest?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
the guy's name? I forgot his name.
Oh, James Gunn.
James
James
Gunn,
Gunn.
yeah.
It's like James Gunn.
You think he's like James Gunn?
Because James Gunn, I mean, the guy used to work for Troma. He wrote the Dawn of the Dead remake. Like,
Okay.
he's a smaller film guy that kind of, I don't want to say Galaxy or Guardians of the Galaxy would have been what it is without him. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love James Gunn.
Yeah.
But I don't think that film being as good as it was, I don't think that he was as much a part of that film, or that film being what it was, as Nolan was Batman being what it was. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
However, I will say that Favreau gave us a better hero, because it all started with that film. And the way that he created Tony Stark, in my opinion, has carried the entire Marvel universe, cinematic universe.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like,
And
but I mean, even if you take those films off the table, and you're talking about Zathura,
their
and
career,
you're talking about Elf, and you're
I
talking
think
about...
Nolan has a better career.
Really?
Yes.
I think Favreau.
I would rather have Nolan's career than Favreau's.
I would rather have Favreau's career. You know why? I mean, like, okay, anybody who watches a comic book film is gonna watch The Dark Knight, right? I mean, like, anybody who ventures into comic book films is gonna end up watching that movie.
Yeah.
But I think that in 100 years, that they're gonna play Elf and they're gonna play It's a Wonderful Life, and those are gonna be your Christmas movies and Christmas Story.
I don't know about that.
And I think that people love that movie. I like that movie. People love the fuck out of that movie.
I think, okay, so your basis is based on what people think in hindsight, because my basis is I feel like Jon Favreau is a good director. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love the Swingers, and he did the film right after Swingers. I like too, but
Made?
yeah, I actually
yeah.
liked Made.
Oh, wow.
I liked Made.
Yeah. P. Diddy.
But right. But again, I don't feel like the reason I like Christopher Nolan again is I think he has a bit of the Kubrick gene, where it's like, okay, I've nailed sci-fi, so I want to do a war movie. I feel like that. That's just my. I'm not saying he has this.
I'm not saying. I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you odd because I disagree with what you're saying. I'm looking at you odd because I feel like the same kind of thing can be said about Jon Favreau.
Okay,
and I don't think that. And
maybe
I'm not
actually
here to stand for Jon Favreau.
You could be right, actually.
Yeah, I'm not here to stand for him. I'm just saying that my whole problem with Christopher Nolan films, and I didn't want to get into this, is the dialogue.
They insist on themselves.
It's the dialogue. It's not.
Oh,
it's
well.
And I always use this when I'm talking to a Christopher Nolan fan, and I always say I saw two movies that I think it was that season that I saw Inception. I saw with Leonardo DiCaprio. Two Leonardo DiCaprio movies that starred Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio. I saw Shutter Island and I saw Inception.
Oh.
And I saw two different performances. In one, he was fucking amazing, and the other one was called Inception.
And the other one's called Shutter Island.
No, the other one's called Inception. He was really good in Shutter Island. And he's not good in Inception. He's bad in Inception.
This is where...
How do you turn Leonardo DiCaprio?
I don't want to agree with you, but I do. Because my problem with Nolan films are the dialogue and the way he writes women.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even...
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, no, but I saw here's the thing. I always go to see them. And I always enjoy them to a point.
So
and then
he
the
wins.
book flies out of the bookcase.
He wins.
And then I'm like, why is the fifth dimension love? Everybody knows it's time. I used to say that Michael Bay, like Christopher Nolan, was Michael Bay with like highfalutin Michael Bay.
Here's the thing. You know what it is.
But you don't like Transformers.
I hate Transformers.
You just want to be honest.
But you like Michael Bay.
I don't have to like everything.
I think Michael Bay is more. I think that if you take Transformers away from Michael Bay, he's actually not a bad director.
Yeah,
I think Transformers ruins him.
Thank you.
Transformers does not help his resume at all.
Not at all.
Just, if anything, it just shows that he can make money. Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. But that's it.
Bad Boys 2 and the Transformers movies directs off the table.
No.
And you've got a good director.
No.
Bad Boys 1 is great.
No,
Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2, is it?
Bad Boys 2 didn't happen.
Bad Boys 2 stays on the table.
Are you serious? Really?
Chitty chitty bang bang.
I think we all watched that together. It's just when they all go to Cuba to rescue And I think it maybe
Oh,
was
well.
like right in the middle of
I feel, you know what? I feel like I've always felt like that was like an alternate ending that they said, "Fuck it, let's start on." So they gave it 2 endings.
No, they
but
ain't
but
fucking
going,
doing
let
that.
me go back to this. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm defending Christopher Nolan this hard. I really think, again, this is my question about the '80s thing. Is your problem with Christopher Nolan or is it his fans? Because I think his fans are insane. There's few directors that like I literally get like a boner over.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's certain directors.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be one of them. However, I would see a director that actually, it's like he's trying to be great.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
I feel like he's trying to be great.
Yeah.
And
You gotta aim high.
I can't knock that.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question directly, it's not his fans because I don't connect with the dialogue. And a lot of times in those movies, I think he makes a beautiful movie. I think he does a lot of things good, but the dialogue just really takes me out of his films. Like, and I wish it didn't. You know what I mean? Like his fans, yeah, they're fucking annoying.
So
but
is
like
that-
any fans
Is
are.
that a Goyer problem?
So Chris, what are you saying? What's wrong with my dialogue?
You shouldn't have let Christian Bale do that.
What are you saying, Chris? What's wrong?
I'm saying that.
Do you feel like you're in control?
You know what?
Why are we running, Sam?
You know what?
Why are we running?
In
So we
speaking
must
of
chase him.
Christopher Nolan, you know, Chris, some people just want to watch the world burn.
It's true.
Damn, Chris.
That's true. I don't know. What's an Inception? Watch the movie. They'll tell you 8 fucking times in the first act. I take enough away from those movies. Like, it's not like if a new Transformers movie's coming out, I'm not fucking watching it. Like, I'm not watching it. Like, you couldn't drag me there.
I like how there's
What if,
this
what
like.
if I
this-
bought you a ticket?
I love how
No,
there's
I
this
wouldn't go.
this like we
Buy you
keep
popcorn.
comparing Nolan to Bay. I love that.
I really think that they're two sides of the same coin. I think they're both big budget blockbuster movie making guys, and they both have a lot of like panache. Like
You know the difference. You know
Michael
the
Bay
difference?
runs a set like a motherfucker.
You know why I like Michael Bay? And this is why I laugh when people bitch about Michael Bay. Because Michael Bay isn't the guy that's trying to rewrite film history.
Right.
He's a guy that's trying to turn a profit. And
Yeah.
I think if you set him down and said, "Why are you making this movie?" he would probably say to make money.
yeah.
So for me, I think for some reason people have this bullshit perception that all film is supposed to be art.
That's not
I
true.
mean,
Yeah.
and when you talk to people, everyone has that bullshit movie that they like. That's
Yeah.
clearly not art.
Yeah.
And Michael Bay's made a career of that.
Yeah.
And I think I looked at a list. It's on IMDb. I won't pull it up. I'm too lazy. But it was a list of like the I think the 10 or 20 highest grossing directors since like 1990.
Yeah.
And Michael Bay's number 3.
Sure.
So it's
Yeah.
like I think Nolan was right behind him actually. But I mean, I think
Just wait for Dunkirk.
if we all want to be real here for a second, when you're a director, that is your job, right?
To make the money?
No. When you're a director, your job is to direct a film, right?
Yeah.
So how do you get your next film?
You make money.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Whereas Christopher Nolan, who also makes money, I get the feeling that he understands that you have to make a profitable film.
yeah.
But I think he wants to try hard. I think Michael Bay will basically says, if I put Transformers and explosions in this film, people will see it. Whereas Christopher Nolan would be like, yeah, we can have Transformers and explosions. I'm fine with that, but I want to have a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with either one. Because honestly, you want to be honest, as much as I like Michael Bay, I would probably veer more towards Christopher Nolan. It's kind of,
Judas.
Yeah.
it's kind of like what I said last episode where James Cameron was talking about the truck exploding in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
It's like everyone sees the truck explode in the movie, but we don't know why. So why not show the spark plug next to the gas tank?
Oh, right.
It's
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, the Decepticons want to kill the Autobots.
Yeah.
Why not explore why? That's what I'm saying.
I want to wrap it up, but
All right.
Wrap that shit up, B.
But I do want to say that for Michael Bay, if the Academy was made up of John Voight, Stacey Dash, Antonio Sabato Jr., and Chachi, he would get Best Picture for 13 hours.
You know what? And
true.
I guarantee it would be a fabulous speech. I guarantee it. It would be the greatest thing ever. Vote for me.
Thank you. All right. So we're gonna wrap up here, right, Ray?
I want
It's
pancakes.
time to wrap up. All right, so let's wrap this up. This has been episode 3 of the Film Zealots podcast. Go ahead and visit our Facebook page, like us, drop us a comment, give us feedback. We're always looking to get better at what we do and create better conversation. Thank you to Victor for sitting in today, and Carlos and Alan for kind of sitting in. You're welcome, Victor. Thank you for keeping the Victor to a 4 and not going Victor to an 11. All right, well, I think so, yeah. Thanks for dropping the deuce on our podcast, Victor. So for the Film Zealots podcast, I'm Chris, that's Sans, and there's Ray, and we will be back with you next week. We're out.
They must be on the